What's up guys, Intelitech Studios here, and today we're going to be doing a video on my most recent acquisition as of the time of filming this video. This is the Amway ClearTrak, which is currently known today as the WMJ Workhorse, and previously known as the Amway CMS 1000. This particular variant is the Amway ClearTrak, and this machine I got from my local vacuum shop. The guy who runs the shop basically gave me a bunch of free vacuums from the back of the shop. They were basically just sitting back there. You know, it was basically just like a basement almost, but on the ground floor, just a concrete room with pretty much nothing in it, but a certain number of vacuums. And I was allowed to grab all of those machines and take them home for free, with the exception of the Tacony machines that he had there and one Kirby. So he had some Simplicity, some Riccar, and a Kirby. I couldn't take those, but I could take any of the other ones. And since I didn't have a truck with me or anything like that, I just had my car, and my car was pretty full of stuff. I could only really grab one vacuum at first before I could go back later and grab the rest of the vacs, which I still have yet to do. And the machine that I chose was the ClearTrak because it was the one that immediately stood out to me the most. Now, I won't give any hints as to the other machines that are coming, but there are definitely some gems in there. And if you are a vacuum collector, not just a person who collects like Dirt Devil and crap like that, but if you actually collect some more like sought after vacuums, then definitely hit the subscribe button, because the next Vacuum Saved, or at the very least the Vacuum Store edition of Vacuum Saved, I don't know if that's going to be the next one or the one after, is going to be pretty wild. So just keep that in mind. Subscribe and hit the bell if you're looking forward to that, because this is a pretty good representation of the machines that will be in that lot as far as the era that they're from and their historical significance. So, anyways, this is the machine that I decided to take home with me. I believe I got this a day or two ago from the aforementioned shop, and yeah, 2 days ago actually. And this was the one that I grabbed. Now, I don't know the story behind this because, frankly, the owner doesn't know the story behind this. A lot of those vacuums that were just in that back room have just shown up there over time, either because presumably a customer brought it in and never grabbed it again, or someone just dropped it off and didn't actually want it. I don't know the story behind this thing, but what I do know is that this is an Amway ClearTrak that was at one point serviced by WMJ. And I know that because of this little sticker right down here. So you can see this lovely WMJ refurbished sticker. And if we look at the bottom of the machine, we can see right there, Amway ClearTrak. Now I don't know if you're able to see that sticker thoroughly. Hopefully you are. And I'm not sure if there's any way to serial date this machine. So I'm unsure as to how to serial date this. It is an 8 amp motor, which is something that I was not expecting, but I guess if I had actually thought about it, then that does make sense, because this is very similar to the earliest Phantoms that came out, because they're obviously related in some fashion, and the earliest Phantoms that came out had a 9 amp motor, so it is very much in that ballpark. And if you do turn one of these on, you can tell that it definitely does have its roots rooted in Phantom. Even though, again, this machine is not made by Phantom. It's made by Bissell, in fact. Yes, you heard that right. Made by Bissell. Now, obviously, the newer WMJ machines are manufactured by WMJ themselves, whatever company WMJ is, but the Amway ClearTraks, and I believe the CMS 1000 as well, maybe those are made by Singer, perhaps? I don't know, but from what I understand, the ClearTraks were made by Bissell. At least a lot of them were. And if any person watching this has conflicting information and actually knows that these were made by some other company, then definitely let me know, in case some of my information may be a little bit inaccurate. That is entirely possible, after all. We are talking about really old appliances. History generally doesn't do kindly as far as archiving information about these companies. So, You might be wondering, so you got this thing for how much? And the answer is free. Now, it was very dirty when I got it. It had a lot of dirt and dust all over it. And some of the screws, especially throughout the main body, are in fact very rusted. So I will need to do something if I want to actually take this machine apart. I may just see if I can't get a hold of just a new set of screws. And obviously getting the old ones out will be a problem. But as far as like on the main base, the screws on there are okay. And also the main sort of upper body, a lot of these screws were loose whenever I first got the machine. Like this screw and a couple of these other screws were, especially this one, were very, very loose. So I did have to retighten those. But all the other screws are fine, and as you can tell, the only issue with it is cosmetic. The hose is in need of a replacement. It's currently held together by electrical tape, and ditto for the power cord. So the power cord is very badly worn in several spots. You can see it's been twisted all over the place, but it does still function, so that's definitely good. And of course I can't pull the filter out because the cord's in the way, but the filter is in need of a clean. I haven't done that yet, but you can see I have, in just the couple days that I've used this machine has received a lot of use, because whenever I got it, the dirt was up to here. And I also, whenever I was at the shop, I went ahead and used it to clean up all the salt off the rugs in the shop, because I wanted to test this out, and I had no problem helping clean the shop for them. So by that time it was filled up to like about here with like the salt and all the dirt from the rugs. And then I've gotten it home, cleaned obviously my carpet plenty of times, and I also used this machine to clean out a lot of other dirt containers and filters from other machines, like some Bissell's, Dirt Devils, and the Eureka Lightspeed. So that's why the dirt's all the way up to here already. And that is a little bit of a spoiler as far as how well this thing works. So still some dirt in the height adjustment mechanism, but it's not perfect. But we can see it actually has the protective film still on it, this like sort of turquoise clear film. While it is torn in a couple spots, it's still on here, which is fascinating to me. Obviously this sticker is supposed to be white, and this protective film is still intact, so I will definitely not be touching this. And as far as the underside of it, let's see if I can lower this without breaking the handle lock on this. We can see that this, whenever I got it, I did clean out a lot of the hair and stuff that was in this sort of undercarriage piece. There's like right here where there's like a spot, there's like a lot of hair, and there's hair stuck in these little cracks and crevices. I did clean that out, but the brush roll looks identical to when I got it. This brush roll somehow has had no hair tangle around it, and also in the time that I've had it has had no hair tangle around it. Now, I haven't been actively trying to tangle it with hair, but this thing has pretty much the same amount of resistance to hair tangles as my Navigator Liftaway 0M Shark, and that machine's entire point of existence is the fact that it doesn't tangle, so that's very impressive. And that is something that first impressions of this machine are very positive, and definitely makes me understand why these things have such a cult-like following. Speaking of a cult-like following, this machine actually, my fiance likes to watch a lot of YouTube channels that feature carpet cleaning. Like, he watches a lot of videos about like deep rug cleaning, and like, you know, like videos about like disgusting cars that someone detailed and got to look like brand new, like, you know, that sort of thing. And whenever I first brought this into the house, he actually recognized it, because there's so many carpet cleaning YouTube channels that swear by these, and he was like, "Is that a Workhorse?" And I'm like, "Yes, it is." And it is in fact a Workhorse, although it's even better version of the Workhorse. It's the ClearTrak. I mean, better in terms of collectability because of the branding. Obviously, they're the identical machines, but it definitely was definitely kind of funny how he was able to tell what it is, because it's such an iconic design, and it definitely has its following. And in case you can't tell by my tone, I am very happy to have this in the collection, especially since my Phantom Fury that I've been using as my daily driver since I got it, not the one that I just got recently, the one I got prior to it, because I got two Furies recently, the one that I got first, before the one that I most recently got, that one is surely starting to die out. and the motor is arsing on it, and the thing is overheating and sparking, and it's not good. And I did make a video about repairing that and working on it, but I'm not sure if I'm going to upload that. If you guys want to see the repair of the Fury, let me know, and I'll work on getting that edited and uploaded. But either way, so obviously I've pretty much retired that Fury, and I'm not really using it. It does still work. It's just you can't use it for like more than like an hour at a time before it'll do a thermal shut off, but it does still otherwise work. So I don't know if I'm going to use it to like trade with another collector, or if I'm going to sell it. I'm not quite sure yet, but either way, the point of me mentioning that was because this is very similar, so it does kind of scratch that sort of phantom itch that one may have, more so than any semi-modern Dyson would. And this definitely has a warranted following, because the amount of stuff this was able to pull out in just a little bit of time that I've used this is very impressive, and I've been very happy with it. So again, this isn't the review, this is just the acquisition, but I think you can kind of tell whenever I start half reviewing a machine when I just got it, I think that really kind of spells how much my praise for it is going to be, because I am very impressed with this. And other than the two little issues, as well as the issue with this handle lock, for some reason the cover on it, which I believe is supposed to be like a blue color like the buttons, or maybe it's supposed to be tan like the body, I don't really remember off the top of my head, but obviously the cover for this is missing. At least I'm pretty sure these were supposed to have a cover. I don't think it's supposed to be the bare metal, but I mean, either way, it works just fine, so I'm not going to worry about that too much. And we do also have the rubber-coated wheels as well, so that's been nice because I haven't had to worry about scratching on my floor. There's no attachments with it, obviously, but what I did find out is that certain other attachments, like from Dirt Devils and Bissell's, do fit on the hose on this machine. So if you need if you need attachments and you don't want to buy the official toolkit from WMJ, Bissell and Dirt Devil attachments especially do fit on this. I did try some Hoover attachments. Actually, no, did I try Hoover attachments? I don't remember if I did, but there are a few attachments that you can get to fit this, and I'll talk more about that in the full review. But the only other issue that I had when I got it is that this changeover valve was jammed because the talcum powder or capture or whatever the previous owner sucked up with this thing had gotten in the reel of this sort of a changeover valve, and it had jammed it, so it was stuck, and I couldn't actually flip it over to the tool section. But as you can see, I was able to get that cleaned up, and this little bit right here just twists right off, just like that, and it's kind of hard to do with one hand, but once you get it, you can just kind of twist it off. And then I was able to just twist this off and pull this little valve out, and it was very simple. So, and then now you can just pull the valve straight out, so if there's a blockage or something in there, you can very easily just kind of wiggle this thing out, just like that. You can see there is like a little string of something that's stuck in there. Not sure how to get that out, but doesn't appear to be causing any issues. So you can see that's obviously there's some dust in there, but otherwise it's free of any sort of debris. So that's nice. And I think I've gushed about this machine enough. Oh, and the other thing that it needs is, obviously, since the filter on this is pretty dirty, it probably could use a new filter. And the belt, while the belt is still holding tension and it does still spin the brush and still groom very nicely, the belt did have some chunks taken out of it. And but thankfully the belt is thick enough to where even though there are some like chunks of the belt taken out, there is still enough material for it to be wrapped around the brush roll and not burn through. So, but obviously this will need a new belt very soon. And so beyond just the basic parts, I mean, considering I got this thing for free, I really can't complain at all, especially considering that this thing does work. Also, the brush roll bearings sound a little bit funky, so because there's like a whining noise with them a little bit. So I'm not sure if that means this thing needs a new brush roll, or if I just need to pull it apart and work on it. because I haven't pulled it up. I haven't seen if the brush roller is the kind that you can easily pull apart like a Phantom brush roller is. I would hope so, but obviously if not, I can get those parts from WMJ as well. So much. Definitely the getting one that needs parts is much less of a hassle than it is with a Phantom, and definitely kind of makes me breathe easier about using this thing as a daily driver. So, this is the Amway ClearTrak, and we're going to go ahead and run this in just a couple seconds. Oh, is it on the carpet mode? Yes, it is. Okay. You always got to check that, remember. Just like a lot of the Eurekas, you got to make sure it's on the carpet mode so you don't vacuum your whole house and then realize, oh wait, it didn't pick anything up because there's no suction going to it. But yeah. So, anyways, enough babbling. Let's go. So you can hear that little sort of like rattling noise that I was talking about with the brush roll. And even though the hose is taped, much like the Boss 4D that I just showed, it thankfully was taped up good enough to where I can't notice any sort of suction escaping. Now, of course, this is, again, basically a Phantom or very analogous to like an early Dyson, like a DC-01. So, as expected, despite this being a bypass motor, much like a lot of direct air motors from machines at the time, like a Hoover Elite or a Dirt Devil Impulse, this thing definitely does not have the strongest suction, but it does have a decent amount of airflow, and it definitely has a lot of good carpet cleaning qualities, even though, again, the agitation isn't anything amazing. I mean, it's perfectly adequate. It has very solid agitation. Even though the brush roller is very soft, the bristles are much softer than a Phantom. This thing does appear to clean a lot better than my Phantom Fury. Maybe not like, miles better, but it does still clean a little bit better. And considering the fact that the bristles on this are a lot softer, you would think that the stiffer bristles on the Phantom would be better at pulling out debris, because obviously the suction on the two are very similar. And some people argue that not having a premotor filter actually increases airflow because there's less material to force the air through. And despite that, this definitely does have a premotor filter, unlike other Phantoms, which is also another solid reason to pick one of these over a Phantom, because you're going to have a lot less necessary motor maintenance. You're going to have a lot less dust going through the motor. Maybe not a lot less, but you're going to have less dust going through the motor for sure. And it's definitely going to help prolong the life of the motor. And the good news is, even if you do blow out the motor, you can still get them. You can still get them, as well as the cord, as well as the hose and the brush roll and all the parts that I would be able to get for this machine if I wanted to refurbish it and make it work like new. I very well could do that. So that definitely is very, very nice. And yeah, so that is my Amway ClearTrak. As you can tell based off of how full the bin is, this thing has had a lot of use in the few days that I've had it, and I've been very, very impressed with it. So full review will be coming at some point. My review list is backlogged. I still got the Musu, and I got a bunch of other machines that I still have to get reviews done on, and I keep getting more machines, and then I end up not getting reviews done because I end up doing, all my daily videos on getting a new machine. So I'm gonna try to get better at actually getting reviews filmed and done and uploaded for you guys, so that way those of you who are wanting to see actual reviews on the machines and not just me getting them and showing them off, hopefully you will be equally as happy as those who enjoy the acquisition videos. So, anyway, guys, if any of you guys have an Amway ClearTrak or a Workhorse or CMS 1000, I'd like to know what your thoughts are on the machine. And since obviously the full review has not came yet, as usual with any acquisition video, if I decide to do a full review on it, just in case, please ask any questions you may have about the machine below, so that way I can be sure to answer them in the full review. At least if I am aware of the question by the time I do the full review, then I can hopefully answer that, so that way my review is very comprehensive. Because the reason I do a lot of reviews that are upwards of a half hour to an hour long is I try to make them as comprehensive as possible, especially primarily if it's a machine that you can still buy. And technically, this machine does fall into that category, so the review will be intense. So, anyway, guys, this is Intelitech Studios signing out with my acquisition of the Amway ClearTrak, and I will see you guys in the next video, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and have a good one. Peace. No hints on what's coming up.